What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Ride and Dad channel video, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. We have a surprise, although I guess it's not really a surprise because you guys saw the thumbnail. But either way, let's roll the intro and we'll open this pretty little bag. That's a weird way to describe it. Let's just roll the intro.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a
Alrighty, so you guys already saw the, why is this so hard to open? You guys already saw the intro, or you did see the intro, but you guys already saw the thumbnail. It's the Lexin Gen 2 pump. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Gen 1 pump, go ahead and watch my video a few weeks ago. I told you guys I went ahead and got this from Tucker Speed. Again, the links will be in the description of this video to go ahead and get yourself the Gen 1 or the Gen 2 from Tucker Speed. The Gen 1 is obviously cheaper, it's older, does less things. The Gen 2 is just pretty cool. You guys will see why. So, starters, one of the big differences for the Gen 2 versus the Gen 1 is this piece. The Gen 1 had that kind of clip, like old school bicycle tire kind of thing. This has a screw on, which can be viewed as a pro or a con for you guys. The pro is that it has a very good purchase on the valve stem, and it's not gonna be like half off and lose air. The con is depending on how your disc brake setup is, or your bag setup, or whatever you got going on in your wheel area where your valve stem is, depending on that setup, this is going to be difficult to get on and off quickly. Getting it on, who cares? You can take an hour if you want, but getting it off, obviously the more you fiddle with this and the longer it's gonna take for you to unscrew this off of your valve stem, the longer it's gonna take, or the more air is gonna flow out of your tire, which is obviously the reverse of what you would be using this for. Now, getting this on, screws in. It's obviously a male and a female end, so one can only go in one specific area. It charges, and it does come with the charging cord and everything, but there's no reason to keep it in the bag because the charging cord is over by the computer. It charges via a micro USB, and it does have a, I'm sorry, not a micro, what is this new one? The mini USB, whatever this new one is that can be done either way, that I'm sure somebody that owns a Samsung Galaxy phone is gonna tell me they've been using for 13 years because it's so great, but I'm never gonna switch iPhone for life. But it uses that one, the ovally one, and then it uses a normal USB type, what do you call this? Hole, whatever. Normal USB hole, input, whatever, to output charge. So you can charge your phone with this. It's like a mobile battery pack in addition. So it's cool for a couple reasons. One, this, I think it's called the micro USB, whatever this new mini micro, whatever it is. USB-C. It's called the USB-C, folks. There you go. This new USB-C charges quick. It's capable of faster charging. A lot of cables are coming with it nowadays where it's just USB-C to USB-C, and it charges much faster whether you're in the computer or like an actual wallet, like an adapter piece for the plug. So USB Type-C is very cool, especially, I guess, for those of you who have an iPhone or an iPad or whatever. You guys already have the cable, and you just plug it in the same one. It's less cables for you to bring, especially if you're taking a long trip and you want to make sure you have the charging cable for this. USB is cool because everything can be charged via USB, so it's very nice to have that as an output, and then you have your kind of dust and debris cover that fits pretty snug in there. To turn it on, all you do is hit the power button. See, it's got these little things, and then it starts up. The display is awesome on this new Gen 2. The top shows you what your current PSI of your tire is. The bottom is what you set it at. And then the right is a battery indicator, which is a super nice feature to have. Again, like I said, it's just awesome all around. So basically, you have this button that says U. You can hit U, and it'll change units. So now we're in bar, kPa, kilograms per centimeter squared. I don't know who uses that, but it's an option, I guess. And then back to PSI, which we're gonna use because it doesn't measure in bald eagle units, and PSI is the closest thing for us here in the US of A. So you have this plus and minus there. You'll see this number changing. You can change it in increments of 0.5 up to get to 100. So let's go ahead and set it at 36 because that is what we're gonna demonstrate on this Sportster here. I'm not sure why it was so high. I don't recall setting it at 100, so maybe that's what it comes defaulted as. So I guess we'll fast forward through this part till I get to 36. All right, so now we're at 36. And again, the bottom will say what it's set at. You have your battery, and then your above is what your tire is actually going to be at, which you guys will see when I demonstrate it again on this Sportster, because this is just kind of my test dummy bike for everything. So we already covered the U. We covered the power button. You hold it to turn the unit on. To start the air, to start filling up the tire, you just tap it once it's already on. And it'll start filling it up, and like the other one, it'll automatically stop when it reaches it. You know, it's set PSI that you set it at. To stop it for whatever reason, if you want to stop it short, you just hit the power button again. To turn the unit completely off, hold the power button. It'll tell you off, and it'll go off. But we want it on, so let's go ahead and turn it back on. It'll say on again, and we're back. It saves your last preset, you know, whatever it's PSI or KPA or whatever you set it at, kilograms per squared, or centimeter square, whatever the heck that one. I've never, if you use, what is it, kilograms per, oh, hold on. If you use kilograms per centimeter squared, let me know. And let me know where you're at and why you use that, because I've never heard of that, and I don't know. Maybe somebody, I've heard of the KPA, I've heard of bar, I've never heard of this one, so let me know. The other cool thing about this one is it's got different kind of features. So you hit this one that has a gear, like your settings, and I'll show you guys all this up close too as well, but it has different settings. So right now it has a picture of a basketball. We were on the no setting before. It was just a blanket, fill it up and get her done. So this is a basketball, so you can set. So say I want my basketball to have 9 PSI. Every time I come back to the basketball setting, or the ball, I guess really it's just the ball in general. Every time I come back to the ball setting, it's gonna be at 9 PSI set. So you go again, now you have a bicycle, 38. I don't ride bicycles, so let's leave it at 38, I guess, I don't care. So 38, now you have a motorcycle, which is set at 2.7 bar. So we're gonna change that to PSI, and we'll change that one down to 36, because that's what I was gonna use before in the general setting, but now we'll keep it specified for the motorcycle setting. Press the settings again, you have car, which is at 2.4 bar. We do PSI here, but we're not filling up a car right now. So you can set that to whatever you want, and then settings again, it goes back to normal, which again you see is our 36 before, and you guys probably can't see it, you just have to take my word for it. But settings, ball, 9, bicycle, 38, motorcycle, back to 36. So let's go ahead and fill up the Sportster tire, the front tire. You guys will see it's very low, if not completely low. I took a lot of air out of it. We'll see how quick this is able to do it and how loud it is also, because that was the Gen 1's pretty loud when it's working, and it's pretty slow even though it gets the job done. The Gen 2, I have not, full disclosure, have not tried inflating anything with it yet. I've just played around it, played around with it exactly like you guys have seen. Have not put it on a tire yet, so this is gonna be my first impression of it filling up as well, but I have very high hopes. This general whole package of this is just awesome. Not that anything was necessarily wrong with the Gen 1, but as things progress and Gen 2, 3, 4, whatever down the line, obviously you expect it to get better. This one is better in every way. So let's go to the front tire, fill her up. All right, so we're starting out at 14 PSI. And we are obviously trying to go to 36. So let's see how long it takes in real time. Already, if you guys recall the first video with the Gen 1, this is amazingly faster than that one. We have slowed up a little bit, but we're still increasing by half a PSI every, I don't know, second and a half, 2 seconds, somewhere around there. This is going much faster. And you guys probably, there was a glare. Now I see that there's no glare, but yeah, much faster. Still nothing is getting hot, nothing's warming up or anything like that. You can feel the air pumping in the bottom. It's cooling itself off as well. So let's see how long it takes to get to the remainder here. getting warm, but it's not hot at all. I mean, my hand is still on there, and we went up quite a few PSI, and we're almost done. All right, we hit 36. You see the battery did change to orange from green. So I am going to go ahead and charge that, but it's been a while since I charged it. I didn't charge it full anyway. I'm going to try to get this off. It's actually not that bad at all, but the Sportster is pretty open as far as that goes. This is warm, but it's not hot at all. I mean, my hand is still on it, not burning me in any way. Same goes for this part. It's warmer down here than it is up here, but my hand is on it the entire time and it's not burning me, and we went from 12 PSI to 36. It took way less time. Now it says we're back to green, so I'm not sure really what we're at, but I'm gonna charge it either way. But this will definitely do the trick if you are out and about for several tires, even if you're going down from 0. Let's get back to the table. So you guys just saw it in real time. Pretty awesome, definitely better than the Gen 1. I'd say it's probably about the same volume, but definitely gets the job done quicker. The display is a million times better. Something I did forget to mention, but you probably saw it when I was talking about the charging ports and stuff, is this light. The Gen 1 had a light, although not as good as this one. The Gen 2 has a light as well. The way to turn it on is holding the settings button, the one that looks like the gear. You just hold it for a few seconds, and then the light comes on, and it's very cool to have that. Doesn't have any indicator on the display, but you can obviously see that the light is on, and if you want to turn it off, you just hit that settings button again. And forgive me, I actually lost the instructions, and by that I mean, yeah, I just lost them. I didn't read them in the beginning because most of us guys don't read instructions, and I felt pretty comfortable being able to use this, but there might be some sort of SOS setting for that light. I'm not 100% sure. If there is, please feel free to comment down below if you know that, whether or not you know that to be true or not. Definitely let me know, because that's something that some people definitely are concerned about. Although, if you have that light, you can just wave it or whatever, or put your finger on it if you want, and cover it up and make your own kind of signal if you wanted to. So overall, this Gen 2 pump, better in every single way. It's awesome. The construction feels nicer. It's cooler. It does take up more space, though. That is the only negative about it. This is kind of the time in my videos where you guys typically would come to expect me saying what I would spend my money on. If I had to only buy one of them, now having my hands on both of them. And honestly, for the money, I think the Gen 2 pump is just awesome. The fact that you can see your battery real time and have the different settings, you can kind of take this, and it did come with a little baggie, if I recall correctly, of like your sport, like your needle and stuff like that, but I put that in my toolbox because that's not going to be on the bike with me. There's no reason to take that, but this just has a lot of versatility, more so than the Gen 1. It has a better battery, it performs better, it doesn't get as hot, doesn't get nearly as hot at all. It gets, I would say, barely warm, at least in my experience just using it, and fiddling with it and everything like that. The fact that you can charge stuff off of it if you want, it's a huge battery pack. You've got a good light. I mean, just everything is awesome about this. Everything is better for about, what, 20 or 30 bucks, whatever it is. And I'll post the prices, or you can just click the links down below to Tucker Speed. But for a few bucks extra, I think you're really getting an awesome deal. Where I would get the Gen 1 instead of the Gen 2 is if you really don't think you're going to use it that much at all. If you're someone that really doesn't take any trips outside of an hour or two, if you're definitely not ever going to stay a state or two away with your bike or travel far or anything like that, then this is something that you could kind of save money on and get the Gen 1, especially if you don't ever think that you're ever going to charge anything from it or use it for basketballs or cars or bicycles or anything like that. If it's just made to be a worst case scenario, I have a flat tire, I need to air it up enough to get to point A to B or whatever like that, and you're just going to use it for that, or space is super limited because the Gen 1 does take up slightly less of a footprint than the Gen 2. Although this is not that much different because it's a little bit thinner, even though it's wider. But the Gen 1 does ultimately take up a tiny bit of less space. So if that's you know, if you're the kind of person that fits either of those descriptions, then I would say yes, go ahead and save the money and get the Gen 1 because it still works. There's nothing wrong with it. It charges fine, it works, it has a light. Nothing necessarily is wrong with it. But if you are anybody else or you just like having the newest and latest and greatest stuff, Gen 2 is where it's at. You guys have heard my piece on it. Let me get this. I feel like it just looks weird with my head there. You guys have heard my piece on this, you know, the Gen 2 and the Gen 1 from last video. Check out all the links in the description. Hit up Tucker Speed, get yourself a Gen 1 or a Gen 2. Use my discount code RIDINDAD for 10% off. And until the next time, guys, ride safe, have fun, Dad out.